You're watching W33BY, Detroit, Highland Park, Michigan. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of W33BY, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me once again. This is Donna Stinson, and this is Can We Talk About It? Today, I want to give a shout out to Vince Holloway. His father is in the hospital. He's going through a lot. Vince is going through a lot with his father. I don't think that they're expecting him to make it, so please, people, pray for him. Pray for him. I have a friend named CY. His mom passed over the weekend. Please, about a week ago. So please pray for him. Also, in September, the second week in September, you can come down to 7500 American. That's Unity Baptist Church. Every Wednesday from 12 to 2. We serve the homeless. We serve anyone who wants to come in and have a hot meal. So please join us for that. And now we're going to get to the subject matter. Okay. We've had Martin Luther King. We've had Malcolm X, and they were good leaders. They were very important leaders in our history. There were people back in that time that was with them, and I'm just going to say it like this. My opinions are my opinions. It's how I feel about things. I'm not a racist. I'm not anti anything that 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 don't agree with the Bible. I'm gonna say it like that. That don't agree with the Bible. I'm gonna say it exactly like that. I am pro-black. Um, I do love my white European friends and brothers and sisters in the Lord. I have no problem with race. I don't want people to get the impression that I'm talking about uh, white people haven't done nothing. I'm not saying that white people haven't done anything in this world. I'm just saying that we've done things that nobody is acknowledging, and don't get angry at us because we're acknowledging that our lives matter, that the things that you said wasn't true. Now we're speaking on them, and now you have an attitude with them. So it's not my show is not to downgrade anybody. My show is not to put one race higher than another race. Don't get me wrong. That is not what the show is all about. Um, as Malcolm X have said in past times when he was on this earth, that until we have black unity among ourselves, how can we ever begun to mingle with another race? So it's not that we don't want white people to help us. It's just that you don't understand our plight. You don't really understand it until you've actually been in that situation. You will never understand it. But it has nothing to do with me not loving a person or anything like this. It's about me trying to help my family get themselves in order. So we're going to speak on one of the so-called teachers in this family today, Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson, um, he did some things for himself. Um, he got the Rainbow Coalition together, which was just really supposed to be helping your own people. And I'm not saying that he's wrong for helping other people. I'm just saying that charity begins at home. So you went over to Afghanistan or Iraq or somewhere back in the 80s and 90s and got some foreigners out of jail, or I don't know if they were United States. Americans. I don't know if they were Americans, but you can go over there and get people out of a mess over there, but you can't help the people where you live at to get out of a mess over here. Over the years that you've been, a civil activist or a civil rights leader, reverend, and all of this other stuff, um, I don't understand how you can be with one of the greatest minds of our times and turn out to be the man that you are. Reverend Jackson, you make me sick to my stomach, and I'm gonna tell you why. Cause after Malcolm X and Martin Luther King passed, I believe you always lived up under their shadow, and you're not doing anything for your people. And you're actually being forgotten. And every time a black man gets shot, here you go, as Mike Epps would say, looking like some Chinese Pekingese, talking about how the brothers, this needs to stop and it needs to. You know what? Ever since our leaders passed, you've been singing that same old song and dance. Every time the media come out, good coverage, bad coverage, it don't matter as long as you get it. I could really bring up some stuff about you that I've gotten from some sources. I'm not gonna blast you out too bad, but I just want to know, how could you sell your own people out? That's all I want to know. I'm tired of these black so-called civil rights activists slash reverends and all of these type of people talking about it's going to be a better day. You lying in your pocket while these people are still dying in the streets. You the one picked this life to say that you're for the people. I thank the Lord that I have a podium where I can sit up, and things that I learn I can bring to my people. The things that I talk about are things that I've experienced. There's a lot of, well, I ain't gonna say a lot because we don't have a lot of leaders like Al Shyster Sharpton. Now, just January the 1st of this year, his passport was revoked. Why? Because he owes millions in taxes. So these are the men that you want. I'm talking to the people out here now, my African American brothers and sisters. These are the men that you want to continue to follow. These are the men that you're saying they were great. They may have been great when they were with Malcolm and Martin. It seems like, in the immortal words of Chris Rock, ever since Malcolm and Martin been off the scene, we ain't had nothing but a bunch of substitute teachers, and they've been bad substitute teachers. Back in the day when Al Sharpton was out there saying that he's for the struggle and this, that, and the other, man, you involved in all types of mob dealings. The FBI and passed you around like you some cheap joint. You done sold your people out time and time again, and I'm not gonna get into that mob thing because I respect the mob, and I respect and I love Italians, so that's why I'm not gonna get into that because we're talking about Al Sharpton. But Al Sharpton did some real low down dirty things, and I'm so tired of every time one of our brothers gets shot, something happens, they're always talking about, well, we need to come together. Okay, you supposed to be the man of the hour. What are you going to do to bring us together? You get out here and start tearing up, which to me, I just think that you didn't had one too many drinks before you got on the scene and then your eyes red. It ain't nothing much to keep your eyes open and let them tear up. Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, get it together. Your people need you now more than ever before. And you sitting up here with this phony addenda. I'm so sick Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I tell you, just because a person is your color don't make them your friend. These people are in the government's pocket. They are here to control us. If it had been Martin, or I'm just gonna say it like this: if Malcolm X was here today and Obama was signing that paper for same-sex marriage, it would have been an uproar in the United States of America. Jesse and Al, they go along to get along now, and I know you do. You act like people like me don't pay attention to your career or what you do, or how you speak to people, or the things common folks see that you do that you don't even care that they do them, and you don't think nobody will never know. Shame on both of you black men for not upholding the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and Dr. Malcolm Little, aka Malcolm X. Shame on you. We're going to take a call. Caller, you're on the air.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're right on point. Unfortunately, we have a lot of sellouts across this country. Even some of the folks that are supposed to be our leaders today. Years ago, back in the late 60s, I used to be minister of defense for the Black Panther Party here in Detroit.
Now see, my family was in the Black Panther Party also.
Indiandale. But getting back to your topic, unfortunately, like they say, I used to live in Chicago. I finished high school there. I graduated from Hyde Park High School on the south side of Chicago in 1968. And nothing too much has changed in Chicago when I moved there with my dad back in '63.
Okay.
The Blackstone Rangers, the Vice Lords, and all these groups. And Jesse Jackson has been on the south side of Chicago. Like you say, all he does is they do a lot of rhetoric in the pockets of the government.
Exactly.
My grandfather is from Palermo, Sicily. My grandfather's Sicilian. My mother's maiden name is Toko.
Okay, so we're talking.
Okay. Whoever's listening. But
excuse me, what did you say, sir?
Unfortunately, Hopson and all of them.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, caller, for that call. I just want people to know that there's people like Jesse Jackson, like Al Sharpton. You don't hear about them because they were never nothing to begin with. I believe, and this is just my opinion, the only reason that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton was even ever put in the situation that they're in was because of the men that they followed, and their shoes was too big for them, and they didn't know how to say, I'm not man enough to fill these shoes. Basically, that's what happened. So before we take a commercial break, I just want people to know you need to be aware of these people that's been like in offices for years and years and years. Why are they still there and they're not doing anything? Why is Governor Snyder still governor? If that had been a black man, Kwame Kilpatrick, if that had been a black man, he would have been out of office. That's letting you know that we have no power. And we don't want to have no power because we don't want to stick together. Snyder could have been out of office. He could have been out of office. But see, the reason he's not out of office is because he may have gave the okay, but he's not totally responsible for what went on down there. And it's still a mess down in Flint. And I pray for you people in Flint every day. I pray that God will keep a covering over you guys. I pray that the Lord will take vengeance out on your enemies. And even if you never see it, know that justice will be served. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about we're going to talk a little bit more about Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, and we'll be back in a couple.
Hundreds and thousands of women are being abused. They're in the fight of their life. Please help them. Please help me. I'm in the fight of my life. Family was so wonderful, I don't get to see him anymore. Something changed in him. He's not the same. I'm in the fight of my life. Please help me. No more! I have a beautiful husband and I love him with all my might. He means the world to me. Until one day I disagree with him. If this happens to you, get away, run away, do whatever you have to. Just get out. Get out!
Got the floor to go to that location also.
Hey, I see what I'm talking about. I'm grown. I'm not going back to jail, Shell. I'm not. Fucking bunnish. Get him, Peterson. Take it easy, buddy.
Please don't let him kill me, please. And the police just ain't killed my boyfriend. This is your choice. Your choice. So don't you go beating yourself up about those bad things. You take those bad choices to make the wrong things right.
911, what's your emergency? Help me, my boyfriend just tried to kill me.
How do you explain to the public your police force can't account for an entire hour?
I pray to God you didn't intend to murder this young man.
Got the floor to go to that one. Got the floor to go to that location also.
And we're back. The trailer that you just seen is a movie based on a true story. It's called A Clear View. It's about a young black man who ran up into a Chicago church and was killed by two white officers. I was blessed enough to play the mother of the church in this film. I believe it's going to be a great film. I love involving myself in very influential and productive projects. So I will keep you informed on that. Matter of fact, there was a story I was telling you about a young man in Florida who came home from the army, and his girlfriend or whatever, they had a child, and she ended up giving the baby up for adoption. And he wanted his child, and he's been trying to get his child. So basically the update on that is he's still struggling to see his child, even though the mother gave the child up for adoption without his knowledge. He's a soldier, he's a veteran, and the state is keeping him away from his child. State of Florida, what is your major malfunction? This man didn't protect your rights for freedoms in this world. He had a child. For whatever reason, the child's mother didn't seem like she wanted him or was deemed unfit, whatever the case was. Here you have an able-bodied man wanting to take care of his child. You won't tell him where the child is because you say that the child is adopted out. Meanwhile, you're breaking this soldier's heart. You're probably not even doing anything for him. Shame on the state of Florida. I will keep you people informed as soon as I find out some more about this young man. I'm trying to get in touch with the editor. The author who actually wrote this in Florida. So as soon as I get some other type of information, I will definitely let you know. So back to Reverend Al Sharpton. I want to read something to you about our Al Sharpton, and it really, 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 really had me like, what is really wrong with Al Sharpton? Because he's just, ugh. I do not believe I brung it. Oh my God. I did not bring it, people. Okay, but what I will talk about is Jesse Jackson again. Now, you know, Jesse Jackson had this thing back in the 80s where they were trying to get rid of um, what you call them, shooting ranges in Detroit. Mind you, there were no shooting ranges in Detroit around this time. Um, Jesse Jackson called this stand in or whatever he wanted to call it. Not only was there no gun ranges in Detroit, three people showed up. Jesse Jackson didn't even show up, and the media had a field day with him. So, you know, for you to say that are a civil rights activist. Now I know you've done some civil things, and I know I know that you've excuse me, was with like I said, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You know, probably I don't know if you were with Medgar Evans, but these are the great gems of our time. And I'm gonna say this once again, I don't understand how you could be around these great minds. Excuse me, and turn out like the bum you are today. You and Mr. Sharpton. If you're supposed to be for the people, why aren't you out here beating the pavement? Now, I know I'm going to play devil's advocate, and you're going to be like, well, you know, what have you done? I'm going to tell you what I've done. I've changed my life around. I was a drug addict. I got my life in order. I try to affect as many young folks as possible. I take my own money out of my pocket and have this podium so I can let people know about miserable brothers and sisters that's not helping and should be helping, like you two guys. So I'm trying to do my part as best as possible. Caller, you are on the air.
Hi, Donna. This is Katrina. How are you?
Oh, hey, Miss Katrina. How you doing?
I'm doing good, my darling. First off, I wanted to let you know you gave the wrong date for the startup of the outreach. It's going to be the third Wednesday, not the second Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. This is one of my mentors in the church, and she's the vice president over culinary, and I work in the kitchen, and she wants to make sure I'm there when I'm supposed to be, and not no time sooner or after.
And cooking some good food.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I love you so much, Miss Katrina. And what do you have to say about Mr. Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton?
I'm listening to you and Al Sharpton. When Tawana Brawley told that lie years ago, he jumped right in on it. And the killing part about it is Al does not show up unless somebody sends for him. If they're not paying his way, he's not going. And that's just my personal opinion because he's not helping, he's hurting.
Thank you so much.
Jesse walked with the greats, just like you said. But if it wasn't about the Rainbow Coalition in Chicago, there wasn't a whole lot that I heard about him doing, except trying to defame and debase Farrakhan.
Exactly.
And that's my 2 cent worth for today.
Excuse me. Thank you so much for your comment. I love you so much.
Love you dearly, my darling, and I'll see you at the temple.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Caller, you are on the air. We have less than 5 minutes. Caller, you are on the air. Caller, you are on the air.
All I have to say about Jesse and Sharpton is they some high-paid boule slaves. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Thank you. Have a great day. God bless you. So there you go. A lot of people, Mr. Sharpton and Mr. Jackson, are not as into you as you think they are. So you need to get it together. You need to examine yourself. You need to pray to whatever Malcolm, Martin, God, whoever you feel like you have to pray to get back on the right track. You need to do that because your people need you and you are fooling them. And like the lady said, your pocket people. And we got to get out of this letting people put us in their pockets and leaving our folks behind. You don't see the Europeans jacking each other over for a profit. You don't see them doing it. And if they do it, I bet you the same people they messing over, which it probably is theirs, they're bringing them right along with them. You a house nigga. Knock it off. I'm tired of these black men like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, going to these people that's destitute, distraught. Before you get here, you get in the mirror and act and like you're crying and everything, it's hurting your soul. No, it's not. It's not hurting your soul. Because if it was, you would be doing more for your people. So why don't you? Do more for your people. Because every now and again, as long as I got breath in my body and God gives me this podium, I'm going to stay on you two fellas. Because you guys are the closest thing to history that we get. And you're tearing it up. You're tearing it apart. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to love each other. Over the weekend, I seen some young men. I asked them to pull their pants up. Thank you so much for being cooperative with me. I also seen the young man that was walking around with his pants up, and I asked him, can I give you a hug? I sure appreciate the way you pull your pants up and you walk to the beat of your own drum. I'm trying to let these young people know that that's indecent exposure, and that's a law that I'm about to push. I hope the mayor hear me, Mayor Duggan, because I got some words for you. The Detroit Police Department, do your job. If you're going to pull people over for something, pull them over for having their pants down. I know that's a law, ain't it? That people ain't supposed to be walking around with their pants half off their butt. When Martin and Malcolm was here, I never seen that. Jesse, Al, why are you not telling the young boys to pull their pants up? And until next week, people, please, stay strong.